Hey everyone, can you all see me? This is my first webinar here. Maybe I'll just wait a little bit for some more people to get on the live stream for a little bit. But if you're here, just say hello. You can drop any questions that it is that you have down in the comments. I will be checking those. So yeah, this is my first webinar, or not webinar, excuse me, my first Facebook Live that it is that I'm doing. And I'm super excited to do it. I figured now is the time to just make it all happen, especially while Mars is at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. So I'm like, gotta try to just fit it all in. And I've been wanting to do Facebook Lives for a while and to just go for it. So awesome. Hey, April. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining me. Also, if you have any questions as well, please put those in there as well, and I'll answer those. How are y'all feeling? Yeah, might as well just tell me that. How are you all doing so far, especially with all these Mars aspects? Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I will. Exhausted and confused. Yes, I know the feeling. Awesome. Hey, Mitchell. Sweet. Awesome, April. Yes, I'll be going through each of the signs. I'm a Cancer rising. I wish there were news on the love front. I think there are possibilities there, but none that I've seen manifest in my own life. Hi, Priyanka. Yes, it has been a little rough. I agree. Okay. Sweet. Well, I will go ahead and I'll bring the chart up. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm actually, let's see. I'm actually doing this. I have a little bit of an office space that I got just for the time being to help myself get organized. Since I have not been that organized lately, I think I've just been trying to do a whole bunch of new stuff. I haven't done a lot of this stuff before, obviously, with the Facebook Live and a bunch of other things. So I'm like, I need to find a way to get organized, and got just some space for me to work from so that I can get out of my home and try to get some kind of better routine going. So that's where I am right now, in case you all were wondering. All right, now I'm just going to pull up the chart and we can talk about that. All right, let me make sure. All right, just want to make sure you all are seeing the chart. I'm going to get out my pointer so that I can show you what's going on. You see my magic wand? I should have like a red pointer to help. All right, so let's dive in. Let me move this over for a second. Trying to just organize my screen to figure out how all this works. All right, so what we've got going on is a new moon. Here we go, in Pisces, conjunct Chiron. As a lot of you know that I've been talking about for a while. So what's coming in is some big new beginning in the things that Pisces rules is all about, which is a lot of your internal states, your emotions, your spirituality, what goes on inside you in a lot of ways, and also your past. So what that makes is this full moon, I want to say more of a private, or this new moon, more of an internal kind of one where it's inside you. Maybe the effects you don't see as much outwardly, but as much as you feel it internally, of just things going on inside, things changing, maybe some tumultuous feelings going on inside. And so I think that's what a lot of stuff is bringing up at this new moon, is how do you feel inside about your life, about how far you've come in life, especially because I always say Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Hey, Joanne. So a lot of it is How do you feel about everything that you've accomplished so far, everything that you've done so far, everything that's happened to you? What is it that you've learned from all of this stuff that you've done or that's happened, and where can you go next, again, with everything into the future? And so I think that's what's kind of coming up at this new moon, is just a lot of what we've been experiencing lately, a lot of these same issues from the past that we've been feeling, especially with Mars here at 29 degrees, the very last degree of Sagittarius, where Saturn was for the past few years. So I feel like a lot of what we're dealing with now is especially what we've been dealing with lately, the past 3 years of Saturn and Sagittarius, a lot of old stuff coming to hit us, especially with this new moon as well at the very last degrees of Pisces. So these are very mature degrees that a lot of these planets are at in the chart. Even Jupiter coming into the last 10 degrees, even though now it's retrograde, of Scorpio. So I feel like it's a lot of these old things that we're just now trying to clear out of our life so that we can begin to move forward, feeling more free to be ourselves, to do things that we want without worrying so much about, did we do the right thing in the past? Are we in the right place? Are we not? All right. So, so that to me is kind of what this new moon is all about, and we're trying to adjust ourselves internally so that we can move forward and overcome these things that have been hard. With the new moon in a conjunction over here to Chiron, it could be a lot of these like things that from the past, we're uncomfortable about them. Maybe we're focusing more on the bad parts of the past instead of the good parts. And we're kind of at the point now where we have to figure out, okay, what do we have to do with all of these feelings, with all of these things that have happened that are uncomfortable for us in some way? How do we beat these things? And really needing, I think, instead of getting lost in all of these fears, getting lost in all of these uncertainties, but to get a new perspective on them, to look at them in different ways so that we can move on. The way that I definitely see Pisces almost is like a rain shower, because it is a water sign. And so I feel like what happens when you get in Pisces is that you're out in the rain or you're taking a nice shower, and it comes to like wash your past away and to clean off all the dirt that you have on you so that you can start to move forward feeling much more clean, in some way once all these planets start to move into Aries. And so I think that's what's going on right now, especially with the moon that we have today and tomorrow coming over Neptune and moving on. Okay, and this chart, of course, is for the exact minute the new moon's going to happen. And so I think leading up to this new moon, what we're really trying to do is basically just like bathe ourselves and like get all the dirt off from like the past few years and like all of the battles that it is that we've had while Saturn was in Sagittarius and a lot of planets came over Pluto, causing great change in our life the past few months. And I think now the new moon in Pisces is saying, okay, like, are you going to stay dirty forever? Are you going to stay in the dirt of the past? Or are you finally going to clean yourself and move forward in the best way that you can? Going into your new life. And it may be hard, again, with Chiron, a lot of old fears, a lot of old insecurities coming up, but really, especially with the trine to Jupiter coming in, needing to get a new outlook on those as well. All right, and I think it's interesting that we have this new moon at Pisces at the same time we're starting to have a whole bunch of planets go retrograde, because Jupiter just went retrograde, Mercury is about to go retrograde. Soon after that, we're going to have Saturn and Pluto that are also going to retrograde. And so I think the new moon in Pisces is saying, okay, time to refresh yourself, to be a new person, to do something new, to have a new outlook on life so that you can then go back and to take care of all those things that maybe hurt you from a much better perspective and in a much better way with a new outlook and not stuck in the old perspective, the old way of thinking, especially with Mercury going retrograde here and to help you do things better. Okay, so I think that's what's going on. Mars as well at the 29th degree could be inflaming some of our hurt feelings here because we still feel like maybe we haven't done enough, or maybe there's still more we need to do coming in, especially with Chiron going on. Maybe we're feeling extremely out of our comfort zone in some way that could be very hard, but really needing to be okay if things are uncomfortable so that things can ultimately get better. You know, it's like sometimes rainstorms aren't always the most fun in some way. I mean, especially I don't like getting wet in the rain because I'm like, my hair's gonna get all messy. So it's like sometimes you have to let things get a little bit messy before they can start to get better. And maybe that's what this new moon is bringing up, some huge wounds and some huge fears, especially with Mars here squaring it, about some new things you've been doing lately, about your belief systems, about almost where you see your life is going, so that like the fever can break and things can start to clear up from there. The clouds can part. All right, so that's what I see going on. And while we're at this time of like extreme sensitivity, especially in Pisces in regards to something new that we're doing and trying to overcome that, I do, however, see some good things going on with Venus and Mercury starting to be in a better spot. Venus and Mercury were in a square to Saturn earlier this week, bringing up some hard conversations, some very serious conversations, especially when it came to relationships and money. But now Venus and Mercury are coming off of that spot and starting to make a trine over here to the North Node in Leo. I think saying there's happiness to be had. Like there are some good things that are coming for us if we can just have faith that things are going to be okay, beat some of these like last fears down so that we can move forward, all right, and go into a new direction. And the solar eclipse that happened last month in February on the South Node really was saying there's a new life out there for you waiting. It was bringing a new future, a new goal, you seeing your life in new ways. And I think this is the time where we're finally going to start to step into this new future that we see for ourselves, this new goal, and really make it happen. And I think there's lots of opportunity to be happy doing these things, especially with the trine to the North Node, to get more clarity on where your life is going, to feel a lot better about it. But it's just dealing with these things from the past that are still hard. And I think once we take care of the things from the past that are hurting us, it's going to start to get much easier from there on out. Okay. So that's a lot of what I see going on, being very interesting, especially with the South Node. The eclipse on the South Node last month, I thought was super interesting because we have all this like momentum coming in since the beginning of this year, especially with Saturn changing signs. All the planets were direct in January, really giving us a lot of like forward momentum to do things. And then all of a sudden we had this eclipse coming on the South Node, I think really bringing in the next 6 months, I would say, of not only of us still trying to move forward, like you know, we're not going backwards, like some planets are still going direct, still trying to move forward, but still trying to move forward in a way where we're taking care of some issues from the past, where we're almost at like, I almost feel like we're at a part where we're still moving forward, but after this new moon, it's going to be all about us really finding a way to build in underneath ourselves the foundation and the stability that we did not do a few months ago because we were so concerned about moving forward, making things happen, making big changes in our life. And I think what's going on right now and in the next 6 months is that we're really like trying to feel much better about our life so that we can move forward and start to build more of the foundation and more of the comfort into our life so that we can do some of these things that we wanted to do in December and January, but start to do them in a way that feels much more comfortable. Okay. All right. I hope I didn't confuse you there with that. So that's what I see going on there. Let me take a look at the chat really quick. Hey, Anna. Awesome. Hey, Christina. I always wonder, is that Teresa? Yes, Teresa, I think you emailed me. That's how you say it. Hello. Awesome. So that's what I see going on there. What I think is super interesting, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say. I wrote some notes. Okay, a few of the things I wanted to mention here is that with Mercury and Venus kind of conjunct here ahead of the sun, I think our mind and our heart, we're ahead of the curve. Like we are thinking way ahead. We're thinking about all these things we have to do and where we want our life to go and our plans and what's important to us and making things happen. And I think we're just trying to clear out some of the stuff here that's been holding us back, that's hurtful, before we can really start to move forward, building more of that comfort into our life, redoing some things from the past to make them better before we can pick back up where we left off and continue like storming the mountain. All right, so I see that going on. Mars trine Uranus could also make us very impatient, perhaps about life. And I think what's going on, especially with all this planets and in Pisces, Mercury about to go retrograde, is what's the rush? You know, why are we, it's kind of like, why are we trying so hard and pushing so hard to do things? I think we're just now finally getting to a point, especially with the planets going retrograde, where it wouldn't hurt to pace yourself a little bit more, to see where things are going, and to make sure that the plans that you're building and the things that you're doing are, have just a more stable foundation. All right. With the new moon also, or Neptune, sorry, at the new moon in a conjunction to the North Node, I think as well, we need some time here and need to pace ourselves so that we can make sure that we don't scare ourselves in the process, that we're doing everything right, and that we're emotionally coming along for the ride. So I think there's a lot of that going on too. Maybe with these planets in Aries, we really want to move forward. We really want to push ourselves to make things happen, to get things done so that we can feel better. And the new moon in Pisces, especially with the quincunx from Neptune to the North Node, and we've got some semi-squares here saying it's okay if things are going slower than you want them to go. Like, it's okay if there's still some things from the past that you have to take care of, or if there's some emotional stuff weighing you down, you know, it's fine. And that to create some of these things, sometimes it does take time. And I definitely do think that the next few months, as I was saying with the solar eclipse, is going to be a good chance for us to go back over all of these things we were pushing really, really hard for in January, to make sure that we're doing them right. And we're still moving forward, like time doesn't stop, but a lot of the stuff that we're doing as we're moving forward is to take care and to fill in the holes that we didn't do beforehand, and to make sure that we're moving forward in a better way. And it could feel like we're slowing down, and it could feel hard, especially at least right now with the new moon, but I think it's really meant to help us make sure that our plans are really going to work when we move forward, okay? And to just be patient. Things are changing. Maybe you can't see them changing, but you are moving forward, okay? And sometimes the internal change, especially with the new moon in Pisces, is like the most important thing, you know? I think a lot of times, I think someone asked me in a webinar, but I definitely believe that sometimes things have to be created spiritually, worked out inside you before you can start to feel much better about what you're doing and where you're going. And I think that's what the new moon is helping you to create things spiritually, to feel much better spiritually, so that you can move forward doing things better. All right. So that's what I have there. Awesome. Hey, Erin, thank you. Hi, Candy. I know this is my first Facebook Live. I don't know how to make sure you get notified, but I can look into that. I might change some things after this. Awesome. Sweet. One thing I think is super interesting, I'm going to actually go into a little bit of what's going to happen now after this new moon, to see where the moon's going to be, just to kind of go a little bit further. So let me get my mouse, and I'm going to change my chart for you. Let's go to an hour. So we've got the moon here. It's going to come off the new moon. It's obviously going to conjunct Chiron, maybe bringing up a lot of hurt feelings. And then what I think is super interesting is that it's going to enter the moon, as you see it here, is going to enter Aries at the same time that Mars is going to enter Capricorn, and they're going to square. How funny is that? They're going to square at the exact same time coming in. And so what's going on, I think, after we have this new moon, I think we're feeling very hurt, perhaps, about some things from the past, really trying to get better, transform ourselves, as I've been saying, so that we can move forward without feeling so hurt in some way. And I think after we have this new moon, we're still feeling hurt, but we begin to want to move forward, to at least move past some of the things that have been hurting us, to do some things to make it better in some way. Especially with Mars and Capricorn and its sign of exaltation, I think we want to let go of things from the past, even if it's hard, even if we still have things that are holding us down, to begin to put our life in a better place coming in. And I think with this square coming in first thing, there's still going to be some hard feelings that are even going to linger after this new moon, even into the next day or so, because the moon's going to come through Aries and square all these planets. And I think we start to get to that point, the further the moon moves through Aries, and as the sun starts to move through Aries, where we're like, finally, like, we're free. Maybe we can start to do things. Maybe we can start to act. Like, we've had a lot of stuff from the past. I'm tired of that. It hurts. Like, I just want to get this hurt feeling like off of me and like just move forward. And I think right as we begin to start feeling like, okay, everything's moving into Aries, action, like renewal, like moving forward, we then get hit with these squares from Capricorn saying, yes, 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 do things, but you have to make sure that the things that you're doing that are important to you are smart, that they're going to put you in the right place, that they are what needs to be done to help you in the best way, okay? And I think sometimes when it comes to Aries, we want to just like go for it and do whatever, and all these squares that they're making, that the moon is going to be making, and that a lot of these other planets, Mercury is going to retrograde back into these planets, are going to make, I think, is going to say, whoa, 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 you thought you were going to be free to act in whatever way you wanted, and you can act, you can make more progress, but you still have responsibilities to take care of. You still have to keep the balls going in the air. You still have some restrictions, some things you have to tend to, the laws of the universe in some way that you can't break. And I think that's what we're going to then have to learn as more planets move into Aries, and as we get into Aries season, is how to do what we need, but also make sure that we're doing things right in the right way, that we're controlling our actions, controlling ourselves, so that we don't inflame situations and make them worse. Okay, so that's going there. Then the moon moves further, coming in. Of course, it's going to square Saturn, which I just talked about, and it's going to conjunct Mercury and Venus. And I really like that. And that's going to happen, what, 2 days later, about on the 18th? And I think what that could definitely bring there, once you get past that hard spot, almost, is maybe more relief, feeling like, okay, at least now I'm feeling more like I understand where things are going. Like, even though I have to keep a lot of balls going, there's a lot of stuff going on, I still feel restricted in some way. At least I'm starting to move forward and think more and get more on board with things that I really want to do, where I don't feel like there's a huge part of me that's missing behind. All right. So I see that coming in. I also like the trine to the North Node. That's going to come in as well, happening too. So I think there are some opportunities for you to do things that are better, but just needing to temper it, especially with the stuff going on in Capricorn here as you begin to move forward. And then maybe some unexpected stuff will come up as the moon begins to conjunct Uranus a little later on. 2 or 3 days later that happens. Okay, so we're starting to feel more free after this new moon. Maybe still have some things from the past to take care of that are hanging around a bit, still trying to get over that, but now beginning to move forward, associate more, do more things more freely than we have in the past, and hopefully starting to figure out where things need to go and maneuvering our life in the right way. Okay. So that's what I see going on there. Maybe some more changes we're still going to need to make to our life direction, especially with the moon going to make a square over to Pluto as it moves forward, coming in. But I think we're at least going to start to feel like we have less holding us down, like we're not as dirty maybe as we once were in the past, because we've, maybe exposed some of these things that were hurting us so that we could deal with them and get over them. And I think we're not going to feel as much like we have some heavy stuff hanging over our shoulders. I think we're going to be able to start making progress in a more visible way outside ourselves, doing things, but just needing to make sure that as we're doing things that we're not being careless, we're not being reckless, with Capricorn coming in, making sure, wagging its finger that you're doing everything right, okay, and that you're doing everything with integrity and moving forward in that way, okay? So that's what I see going on there. Someone did ask, let me look back at the chat. Someone did ask when I think things might start to get a little bit better, and I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for that to be this month in April. well, next month, I guess. I definitely see more freedom to do things, like I was saying, being more public about what's going on, being more open about your identity, but all of these squares to Capricorn are going to be keeping you in check as you're doing things. To me, I think a lot of this stuff isn't going to start to come when you feel better until May. I was looking at the astrology for that happening, because things actually do change quite a bit in May, which is kind of interesting. Does you see everything like kind of disperse and everything gets down to the bottom of the chart instead of the top of the chart coming in. So maybe towards the beginning of May, things will start to feel better. And we've had a whole bunch of planets here at the top of the chart for the past few months, really bringing our attention to public matters, to manifesting things publicly, to moving forward, making things happen, you know, with a lot of stuff happening here around Capricorn, which is like the highest part of the chart. And the next few months is finally going to be a chance for us to go underneath everything that we've been building and for us to feel better about it. All right. And so I really like how things are going to start to change in May. And coming in with a lot of planets moving into Taurus, trying to bring us that stability, even though Uranus is also moving there, happening, and some other things. I think I just like a little bit better going in on the other side. We've been making progress on one part of our life, and we're having to round it out, make all our progress well-rounded so that we can feel better moving forward. And I definitely see things improving. I like to think on the next solar eclipse that's going to happen. I actually really like that eclipse a lot, because then it's going to signal a new chapter coming in based on all of these changes and uncomfortable feelings. I think it's kind of going to help us overcome some of those things and move forward, especially with the North Node at the next solar eclipse going to be moving very quickly into, or very closely to Cancer, the last degrees of Cancer, and then Jupiter around November going to be moving into Sagittarius, its home sign. So I think things may start to get a little bit easier around May, but I really don't see things perhaps going in the way that feeling much better until the eclipse that might come in a little bit later this year. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to be, where are they going to be? They're going to be like around June or July right here. Yeah, and this eclipse is going to be, look, very close to the Cancer Leo cusp. And then we're going to have Jupiter moving out pretty quickly in the next few months into Sagittarius. And I just like that much better. I think it's going to help you to start feel like maybe you're grounding yourself more in life, and you're starting to create more of the comfort in your life that you need, and to make more adjustments to feel more comfortable. Okay. And I think with Jupiter moving into Sagittarius, anything that's been uncomfortable the past few years, the past 3 years of our life, I think is going to start to get better. And we're in this is just the way I see it, is we're in like this weird in-between period, especially that this eclipse brought in, where we're still moving forward on some things that we've been working out when Saturn is in Sagittarius, but we're not going to start to feel better about them, to really feel like we're making progress on them, to really understand what that whole period was about until after this eclipse happens around the middle of July, and until Jupiter moves into Sagittarius in November. So I know that's kind of a long time, and maybe not what a lot of people want to hear, but I definitely do see things changing quite a bit by the time we get there, and us really needing to use this time in between to sort out any of the kinks that we've had that have been holding us back the past few years, to deal with them, to overcome them, to move forward, okay, and to do the best that we can to do the things that we've been trying to do, but to do them in a better way. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm actually, sorry, I'm just catching the comments when I can. I'm actually going to go into the sun signs now. I'm going to talk about all of those, if y'all are interested in that. I'll try to keep my eye on the chat too. So I will do that, Jason. All right, and if you have a comment about your sun sign, just put it in. Or if you have a question, try to put it in the chat. I may take a few minutes in between each sun sign just to let the chat update, since I think there's a little bit of a delay. Okay, so I'll draw on the chart. Oh, let's see. Let me Just gotta move. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to start with Aries since that's the first sign of the zodiac. That's why there's a number 1 by it. Everyone always asks me what the numbers mean when I do my sun sign horoscopes, and I leave the numbers of their natural houses, the solar houses. So Aries is the natural ruler of the first house. It holds the properties of the first house most closely. So I keep the numbers there because I like it. It helps me, and hopefully it'll help you understand that even if you have Aries on your 6th house, your 6th house has like a first house kind of flavor. That's kind of the way that you approach your 6th house. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So I'm going to go in Aries. All right, Aries. So you are the most closely represented by a lot of my general forecasts that I do, because when I do my general forecasts, I do them all normally with the defaults, with the solar houses. So this is you, Aries. Oh, and let me get my chart back, sorry, to where it is right now. That might help. All right. Okay, sweet. All right, so Aries, it's going to be for you in your 12th house here of your insides and of your spirituality. So again, because Aries, I think, is the most closest to my general horoscopes, what you're really trying to do is to overcome some things from the past that have been holding you back, to get right with yourself on the inside, to figure everything out emotionally so that you can begin to move forward, having less misgivings, less fear about whatever your life was like, and so that you can feel better doing some things that you want to do, starting a new cycle, doing some things that you really want, and not having to worry about some old things going on. All right, with the new moon coming in over here, it's making a square to Mars, where Saturn has been, and that for you is in your 9th house of something new. So perhaps there's been something new that it is that you've been doing the past 3 years. It could be traveling. Maybe you were going to college, studying something, learning something. Maybe, what else could it be? Yeah, moving, traveling, doing something you haven't done before. And I think that's the thing that's hard for you, is that you've been doing new things. You haven't been feeling comfortable about them because maybe it's been out of your comfort zone, and there are so many things from the past holding you back. And then Aries has to learn how to overcome these things from the past so that they really can step into something new that they're doing and begin to build a career on it, have a reputation here now doing this new thing that they did. You know, if you moved to a new place, now having to meet the people in the town and have them see you in the way that you want to be seen, maybe. Or if you've got a new job or something, then needing to start to build a reputation there that can really help you and to build on that new thing, okay? In order to do that, you may be making lots of changes here in your life, either internally, most likely internally, in order to let some new thing in that you can then build on in your life. And I think that's what you're trying to do at this new moon, is free yourself on the inside so that you can start to do this new thing, building on it and feeling much better about it, okay? Coming in. And I see there being lots of opportunity here for you to be happy if you can overcome the past and move forward. All right, so that's Aries. Now let me erase that and go to Taurus. Okay, just gonna look at the chat. Okay, now Taurus, here you are in the chart. All right, I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna put it as 1 because I'm doing your horoscope. So you are then on the 1st house. Excuse my writing, I'm doing it with my index finger. So this new moon for you then is going to happen right here in your 11th house of your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for the future, okay? So what you're trying to do here is see a new future for yourself, new goals, new dreams, a new life. Maybe you are associating with new people, you have a new social group, new organization that you're a part of, if it's like a professional organization or something along those lines going on. And I think what you're trying to do at this new moon is to get over an old feud. Maybe you saw an old life for yourself, you had old dreams coming in. Maybe you thought you were going to be like an astronaut, and now you decided you wanted to be like a like a chef or something, you know, and you're having to get rid of that old idea of who you thought you wanted to be so that you can step into this new vision of yourself and associate with the new people that that requires. All right, so that's what's coming in there. What's going on is that there could be, with the square to Mars, some big changes in life that it is you've had to make, with Mars in your 8th house of changes and intimacy. So maybe in order for you to see this new life, to see this new vision for yourself, you've had to change your life in whatever way. You've had to end an old life, begin some other things, a lot of upheaval. Maybe you had to make a lot of like investments. You had to spend a lot of money in order to achieve this new thing. And I think what you're having to do is to finish up making all of these changes in life, spending all of this money so that you can reach these goals of yours, a new or different goal. And 8th house could also bring intimacy. So maybe there was some kind of like intimate sexual relationship. It doesn't have to be sexual. It could be a business partner or something. But maybe there was some kind of intimate relationship as well that maybe was, I don't want to say preventing you from seeing a new life for yourself. But that maybe there was a lot going on there that was very intense and deep as well. Maybe you had to see a new future with an intimate relationship that it is that you have as well. So that could be a thing that was a little bit hard. How do you step into a new life while you're making so many changes in life that are really deep and heavy, while you've got a lot of other commitments to other people, and really needing to overcome that so you can step into some new vision. All right. On the relationship note, with Jupiter here in your 7th house, making a trine over to your 11th, also lots of changes in your relationships coming in and your commitments, so that you can let these new dreams. So you're basically just trying to finish making any changes that it is that you need in your life so that you can reach some new goals, associate with a bunch of new people here, and maybe having to change the way you relate to and work with people one-on-one in order to get there. Okay, if you can do that though, and accept the goals you now see for yourself, the life you now see, and get people on board with you and make all the changes you need to get there, it will help you with Venus and Mercury in your 12th house of your insides to feel more comfortable about where your life is going, to find more of the peace. And with the North Node in your 4th house here, to build a home that you feel more comfortable with, to feel more comfortable in your life, to find more of that security that it is that you're looking for, to feel better emotionally, to work better with home and family. Okay, so those are some things that can happen there with Taurus. All right. And you're making all these changes so you can step into doing something new. All right. Now let's go on to Gemini. Okay. All right, so we're here. This is Gemini. I'm going to make this the 1st house because I'm doing Gemini. All right, try to write it. Next time I need to get my iPad, I think, and try to do it that way so that I can actually have my real handwriting. Awesome. So this is Gemini, where this new moon is taking place. 12, okay, so it's going to be right here in your 10th house of your career, your reputation, and your social standing. So what's going on with my Geminis here is maybe that there was an old career of yours, there was an old life direction, an old reputation that you had, and maybe you don't want it anymore. Maybe it didn't work out for you, who knows? But what's going on is you're trying to get over some things from your past, an old career that you had, an old reputation, so that you can move forward, creating a new life direction for yourself, putting your life in a new career, having a new reputation that's different from what it is that you had previously, and you're trying to deal with all the feelings of that so that you can move forward, okay? Part of your challenge could be here where Mars is, because Mars is squaring this new moon, and that for you is going to be here with your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, the one-on-one variety. So your challenge here is with other people in your life, okay? Here, maybe I'll just write the numbers. I was doing that. Your 10th house here, this is your 7th. So your challenge then is trying to get other people on board with you in this new career, in this new reputation that it is that you see for yourself in some way, okay? Really having to make sure, especially with Saturn being there, that you've had the right relationships in your life, that you're working with the right people in the right ways, so that you can move forward here, and really trying to get your relationships in order. It might be uncomfortable with the square to Chiron, so that you can finally move forward in some new career, knowing that you have people there that can support you, that you can work with to help you achieve some things that are really important to you. Okay, I'm back. Are y'all still there? Sorry about that. My internet, I briefly lost connection. Okay, I'm back. I briefly lost connection. And so I just had to reconnect really quick and go from there. And I'm going to start back with Gemini. Where were we? All right, let me get my stuff. I'm going to share my screen. Sorry, I got to get it organized again. All right. Share my screen. Here we are, Gemini. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I'm trying to get the hang of this Facebook Live stuff and how it works. It's kind of cool. So, all right. Let's start up again with Gemini. Okay, here we are, Gemini. I'm going to start over just because I got cut off last time. This is your first house, all right, because I'm doing your horoscope, Gemini. Oh man, my handwriting, hang in there. And what we've got is the new moon happening in Pisces, which for you is your 10th house of career. So I was saying what was going on, I'll write 10, is that there's some perhaps new reputation that it is that you want. You want to be known for something new. You want to have a new career, new life direction, and you're trying to get over the old career, the old life direction, so that you can feel much better moving forward without having as many regrets about, am I doing the right thing? Do I have the right career? Am I putting my life in the right place? And I think you're trying to kick those fears so that you can put your life in a place that's better, okay? The hard part could be right here where Mars is, because Mars is in a square to Chiron at this new moon, is going to be in your 7th of partnerships and relationships. So maybe what's going on is you're hurt about relationships, about other people. You want to make sure you have all the people in your life that you need to support you on this new direction that you're going in, to make sure that you have the right people, and to make sure that the people that you do have, if they are the right people, get you, understand you, know what it is that you want, and really can help you move forward. And maybe there being some uncomfortable feelings here about that, but needing to not worry so much about that. Keep working with people in a way so that you can step into this new reputation of yours. The thing that may need to change a little bit is right here where Jupiter is, since it's in Scorpio, the sign of change, and that's going to be in your 6th house of your job and your daily routines, with Jupiter making a trine. So perhaps what's going on is that in order for you to step into this new career, step into this new life direction, not only are you maybe having, wanting to make sure you've got the right people on board, feeling like it may be, maybe a little bit hard for you with your relationships, you're having to change your job or change your daily routines so that you can do this new career. In order for you to be known for something else, you have to do things differently on the day-to-day in order to get there. And you're really trying to make sure you're comfortable with this new life, the life direction that you're going in, so that you can start working better with the right people in your life and have a better set of daily routines. Okay, if you can but if you can feel comfortable about the direction you now have decided your life needs to go in, I think it's going to help you here where Mercury and Venus are in your 11th, to see your future more clearly, to feel more comfortable being your authentic self, to associate with the right groups of people. All right, and I think it's also going to help you here where the North Node is in your 3rd house, to communicate with people about your goals and dreams better, to communicate in a way that is more authentically yourself, and feel better. I think being more open and honest about what you've been experiencing lately, but you first needing to step into that new career, change your routines, and make sure you've got the right people with you before you can start to feel like, okay, I can be more open, I can communicate more about what is going on with me, to start associating with the right people. Okay, so that's Gemini. Now for Cancer, let's go there. This is you, Cancer. It's your 1st house, again, because I'm doing this prediction for you. And so, okay. And we've got the new moon taking place in your 9th house here, of something new and different that you have not done before. So perhaps there's something new you're trying to do. Could be a passion project that you're working on. I'm a Cancer rising. I consider Wonder Girl my new thing. But it doesn't have to be that. It could also be traveling. If you're traveling somewhere, studying, if you're studying or learning something. Ninth house too also does for religious groups, if you're a part of a religious group. And I think what's going on is maybe there are some old, this is kind of an interesting house to interpret with Pisces. But maybe what you're trying to do is you're trying to do something new to renew the passion, bring more excitement back into your life. Maybe you've been trying to study, learn something else, and maybe it's been hard for you to step into something new that it is that you're doing in whatever way here, and really needing to get over anything that's holding you back so that you can travel more freely, study more freely, and really do something new that's important to you, okay? The challenge here is with Mars in your 6th house of your job and your daily routines, because Mars is making a square to Chiron. So as you're trying to do something new, to overcome something so that you can do something that excites you more, maybe you're hurt about your job or your daily routines. It's just hard for you to get a routine. You know, it's just hard for you to figure out what to do on the day-to-day because there's so much new going on. Can also have a lot to do with maybe there's some hurt things about your job. You don't have the job that you want, your daily routine. You don't like your daily routines. Maybe having to try to do a new set of daily routines, a new job that could feel a little bit uncomfortable for you in order for you to move forward. All right, with the trine to Jupiter coming in your 5th house of happiness. Sometimes I write the numbers and sometimes I write the words. Let's do 5, it's easier. With the trine to Jupiter coming in your 5th house going on, maybe what you have to do is change a passion project, change what makes you happy, change what you enjoy about life. What else? Change your relationship with kids. If kids are involved as you're doing something new, even maybe changing a romantic relationship could come into play here as well, so that you really can step into something new that it is that you're doing. All right. So that's what I see going on there. And I think if you can change what makes you happy so that you can do something new and organize your days better on the day-to-day, I think it is going to help you to ultimately be happier. It's also going to help you here where Venus and Mercury are to put your life in a better spot, have more of the career that you want, have more of the reputation that you want, but first needing to do this new thing, okay, before you can start to put your life in the right direction, okay, and move forward on that. I think it's also going to help you here. I like this, being a Cancer rising with your North Node in your 2nd. It's also going to help you to be more confident, to bring more money to you in some way, and to use more of your gifts and skills and talents, all right? But you first needing to commit to doing this new thing and to get over some uncomfortable feelings that you have about studying, traveling, doing something that you haven't done before, so that you can then begin to build a reputation off of it and feel more confident doing it, okay? So that's what's coming in with Cancer, right? And then of course, relationships are going to become more important with Mars moving into Capricorn in your 7th. All right, let's go to Leo. Right, I think I'm gonna have to charge my laptop in a second. I might have to look for a charger really quick. I didn't plan it to run out of battery that fast. Okay, but we'll do Leo. Here, this is your 1st house, Leo. Oh, come on, I can draw. All right, Leo. We've got your 1st house here. We've got the new moon happening in Pisces. And what that's going to be is your 8th house of changes, endings, and beginnings, and intimacy. Oh, there I go, trying to write again. Okay, and what that's going to bring, I think, is a big change for you. Maybe what's happened is you've started to realize that some life that you've been creating for yourself, you don't know if it was really what you wanted, what really resonated with you deep down in your soul, really. And maybe you're trying to change your life so that you can do more of what you really want, do more of what you really like, do more of what makes you happy. So that could be a thing that's coming in. Maybe as well, there are maybe some debts that you've been trying to pay off that comes into the 8th house going on, and you're really trying to overcome some old debt so that you can feel much better about your money situation and the money that you owe or share with other people. It can also be, of course, intimate relationships, either a sexual relationship, maybe like a deep business relationship as well, maybe trying to change that relationship get over any fears of vulnerability, hard things that you have, and being vulnerable with other people and informing partnerships, maybe even trying to get over some kind of old intimate relationship so that you can step forward, doing something new, having better intimate relationships, expressing your deep emotions in a better way, changing your life for the better. Okay, so that's what Leo is going through, kind of deep. You know, the 8th house can be a little hard, but that's what's going on there. What's happening, what could be hard, especially in this case, is we have Mars in your 5th house of happiness, okay, squaring Chiron very close to this new moon. So as you're making some big changes in life, trying to deal with like your deep hidden fears, vulnerabilities, especially in regards to relationship and things going on with you, could be very hard for you to be happy. Could be very hard for you to work with a romantic relationship. Could be hard for you to find the joy in life because there are so many deep, intense things going on and so many changes, great instability happening in the things that make you happy, okay? But needing, again, especially you to just be patient, okay, if you're not happy right now, because things will eventually start to get better, okay? So we've got that. The thing right here that maybe you need to change is going to be where Jupiter is in your 4th house of home. Oh, there I go again. Your 4th house of home and family. Maybe you're changing your home life so that you can have more of a life that it is you want. Changing the foundations of your life. Changing a relationship with a family member, especially, or even just changing your emotional states so that you can start to live a life doing something else, something new, something different that makes you happier, okay? And I think if you can sit through some of these hard things, Leo, it looks a little hard for you. If you can change some of these things that are very core to your being, if you can sit with some of these hard changes, even if you don't feel quite happy, it's going to help you here where Mercury and Venus are, to do something new, to travel, to study, with it being in your 9th house, to do something else that excites you. And I think this new thing that you start to do is going to be very good for you with it making a trine to the North Node in your 1st house. It's really going to help you to be more free to be yourself, to do things that excite you in some way. It's just a matter of getting rid of all these changes and dealing with these changes first before you can start to feel much better. Right? Even if you're going to have to pay attention to your job and what you do on the day-to-day and make sure you stay organized in the process. All right. Now let's go to Virgo. All right. This is going to be the 1st house since I'm talking about a Virgo. I'm also going to take a minute to look for a charger to charge my laptop. Please write in the comments. I haven't looked at those in a while on my video, but write in the comments while I go do this for a second and I'll see and I'll answer some of those. So just give me a second to charge my laptop or plug it in. All right, crisis averted. Let me see what we've got in the comments really quick. No, I haven't done Aquarius. I'm going in order, the way that the signs follow chronologically. And Aquarius is the 11th sign, so I'll be doing that one soon. I will be putting, April, the replay on YouTube, so you should be able to see it, and then you can always watch this after. Let's see. What laptop? I have a MacBook Pro. Okay, sweet. On how to read the houses. I didn't even think of doing a webinar on that. Sure, I can think about doing that. The new moon, March 17th, right? That's St. Patrick's Day. It's early in the morning. The new moon's on what? 5 a.m. Pretty early. Okay, so I'm going to start back again with Virgo. All right. Virgo. What we've got here is the new moon happening in your opposite sign. So that's going to be your 7th house of partnerships, relationships of the one-on-one variety. So maybe you're having to overcome some old ways of doing things in relationships, some old relationship chapters so that you can step into new relationships, doing things in new ways with the relationships in your life so you can feel more free to move forward on those, okay? So, so that's what is going on for you at this new moon, and you trying to get right with yourself inside so that you can approach your relationships in new or different ways, okay? So I see that there. Your challenge is where Mars is, which for you is going to be in your 4th house of home and family. Don't know why I keep trying to write words. With Mars squaring the new moon, or at least Chiron coming in. So maybe as you're trying to come into new chapters with relationships, it's hard at home. It's hard with home or with family. Maybe there are relationships at home or with a family member, a spouse, that could be a little bit difficult coming in. That could be challenging. What else could this bring that could be a challenge? Emotionally, maybe it's emotion. Maybe you don't want to make the emotional adjustment that you need to make to let your relationships in, or to do things differently with relationships as well. So that could be a thing. Or maybe there's some kind of like new foundation in your life, something new that you're building the foundation of your life on, that you're now having to adjust your relationships to be on board with. That could be a little bit difficult. What you need to do, where Jupiter is in your 3rd house, to change the way that you communicate with other people, to change the way you talk about them, change the way you think about your relationships in order to let these new chapters in, let these new people in, or do things new and different with people in a way that can hopefully feel more emotionally comfortable for you eventually and bring more of that stability back into your life. Even though it may not come too soon, because after, as this new moon is going on for you, Virgo, you've also got Mercury and Venus here in your 8th house of changes, bringing lots of changes in. So maybe after you try to come into these new chapters with relationships here, even if they are unsettling, trying to communicate with people, I think you might have to make some changes in your life to accommodate these relationships. Maybe you need to end some relationships and begin other ones. Maybe that's what comes up for you at this new moon as you're trying to step into new relationship chapters. Or maybe you need to deepen the relationships that it is that you do have, get more intimate with the people in your life. And I think if you can make those changes or deepen these relationships, whatever one it is for you, then it's going to help you with the North Node in your 12th house to feel more comfortable on the inside, to feel more at peace with yourself personally and spiritually. Right? And then the challenge for you is going to be being happy, working with kids once you make these changes in your relationships, working on passion projects. All right. Okay. Libra. We'll get you right here. This is your 1st house. The new moon for you looks like it's going to be in your 6th house of your job and your daily routine. So hopefully for you all, a new job coming in, or getting it over an old job. So you can step into new chapters with your current job, maybe a new set of daily routines. Maybe your old set of daily routines are bored, aren't working for you in some way. Really doing different things on the day-to-day. It could also be health, maybe just new chapters with your health coming in, trying to feel healthier. All right, the challenge with that here is going to be where Mars is, in your 3rd house of talk and of communication, because Mars is making a square to your 6th. So maybe it's hard for you to think about your job and your daily routines, what job you want, how you want to, how you want to work with your job. Maybe it's also hard for you to communicate with people because there's so much going on at your job, because there's so many things coming up maybe that are hurtful about your job. It's just hard for you to talk about it with other people, and maybe other people don't get it. Could be a thing. So that could be the challenge for you, and really needing to learn how to get more clarity about your job, how to get more comfortable talking about your job, or at least how to not let the fears about what you do on the day-to-day and your health prevent you from making progress. All right, what's coming in here with the trine to Jupiter in your 2nd house is that in order for you to step into this new beginning with your job or daily routines, you may have to change the gifts and skills and talents that you use. Maybe now that you're trying to think of a new job or a new daily routine, you need to use different skills at that job. You need to use different skills you haven't used before in order to do this thing on the day-to-day. Maybe you also need to be more confident so you can do what the day demands of you maybe also you need to change the way you make money in different ways from different people, getting different sources, and that can help you too here with your job. All right. Once you figure that stuff out with your job, allow yourself to have a new job, new chapters, new health. It really is going to help you then here to start to work better with relationships, with the people in your life. Oh, here we are. Oh, sorry, my computer, just something came up on the screen really quick. But it's going to help you here with relationships, with Mercury and Venus conjunct in your 7th house, to work more with people, even though it might be a little bit emotionally uncomfortable for you with all this stuff in your 4th house. It's going to help you to work better with people, okay? And to work better with people here where the North Node is, to reach some of your goals and dreams for the future, okay? In your 11th house, to move forward, to associate with the right groups of people, and you needing to overcome some old issues in regards to your job or your daily routines, or some old fears, so that you can then start to make relationships that are going to be good for you. Right? Scorpio, let's go there. All right, once I get through the signs, we'll take a few questions. And then, yeah, and then that'll be it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But here we are with Scorpio. This is your 1st house, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. Now the new moon for you is going to be happening in your 5th house of leadership. I like to think of happiness, of kids, of romantic relationships, and of hobbies. So maybe you're trying to do some new thing that makes you happy in some way. Maybe you've got a new hobby that you're working on. Maybe there's a new leadership position. I think a lot of times with my Scorpios that are coming up at work, that could be a thing. What else could come in? Maybe kids. I don't know if you're having, maybe there's a new child in your life or in your family or something. It can also be some kind of thing with that, and you needing to maybe get rid of your old hobbies. The 5th house isn't too bad. Normally in the 5th house is indicated it's pretty positive, but maybe there's an old hobby you need to get over, or maybe there's an old attitude about kids that you need to change in some way, so that you can really begin to do something new that you enjoy. All right, the hard thing is going to be right here where Mars is making a square to this, so it can have a lot to do with money, perhaps. Since it's in your 2nd house, maybe you feel like you can't afford this new thing that makes you happy. Maybe it is what else? Maybe it's confidence. You aren't confident as you do something that makes you happy. Maybe you feel like you don't have the gifts and skills and talents as well to do a leadership position, to do something that you enjoy, to have a new hobby, to work with kids, right? And really needing to figure out how to get the courage up, how to find that confidence to be happy. All right. So that's going on there. What else? What we maybe need to change here in order to let this joyful thing into your life is where Jupiter is in your 1st house, needing to change your identity. Maybe you needing to change the way that you thought, or how you thought of yourself, who you thought you were, so that you can start to do something that you enjoy and be confident doing it and make money from it and use gifts and skills and talents that you have to do this thing. Okay. I think if you can come into new chapters doing something that you enjoy and makes you happy, it's then going to help you here where Mercury and Venus are conjunct in your 6th house to do more of what you like on the day-to-day, to have a job doing something that you enjoy, okay, or to just feel healthier possibly. And it's also going to help you here with the trine to the North Node to, in your 10th house, oops, in your 10th house, to put your life in a better direction, to have the career that you want. So once you're confident doing this thing that makes you happy, it's then going to help you to have the job that you want, a set of daily routines that really can put your life in the right direction and help you move up in the world, increase your social standing. Right, let's see. Sagittarius. Where are you? Okay, this is Sagittarius because I'm doing you. You're on the 1st house. Sag. What this new moon is, 4th house, home, family is a thing. Maybe there's some kind of new home life that you need, or new situation with a family member, coming into new chapters at home or with family, maybe even emotional states. If it's not literal home, it's like the home inside yourself, maybe having to adjust yourself emotionally, think emotionally about your life differently than you have coming in. Okay, the hard thing is going to be right here where Mars is in your sign making the square. Maybe you don't wanna change your emotions to have a different outlook on life. You don't want to change your home life. I don't want to deal with my home issues right now. I don't want to deal with my emotional stuff. I want to do something else. So that could be a little bit of the problem there, or just being unusual for you. I got to deal with home and family, and now I can't take care of my own needs. And maybe that could be the hard thing, needing to learn how to do both, the home, how to take care of yourself, and to take care of your home or change your emotions in a way that works. What also you may also need to change here, Jupiter in your 12th house. So this is very personal for my Sagittarius. There's a lot of stuff going on inside you emotionally, but also maybe needing to change the way that you think about your life, still stuck in the past. Maybe there's still some things in the past going on. I see more of like a private, internal, like spiritual revolution coming on. Sagittarius has had it hard the past few years with tons of stuff with Saturn here in Sagittarius, Mars now here, like a bunch of stuff in mutable signs, Pisces squaring Sagittarius. So I think what you're trying to do is come out of like feeling maybe beaten down a little bit and just trying to make the emotional adjustment now that so much maybe uncomfortable stuff has happened in your life. You're trying to finally find that stability in your life once again, find more of that comfort, find more of that home, and maybe needing to change your idea of home, change what you thought home was or what comfort is now that things have changed, so that you can feel better about where your life is going. And I think if you can make the emotional adjustment, it's going to help you here where Mercury and Venus are, 5th house, to be happier. Okay, it's going to be a good thing if you can make this in a deep adjustment. And it's also going to help you where the North Node is in your 9th house to do something new that you haven't done before, or to be happy, feeling more excited about your life, adventuring, exploring, doing what I know you all like to do. Okay, so that's Sagittarius. Then we've got Capricorn right here, 1st house. Capricorn, the new moon for you, your 3rd house, talk, communication, coming in. So really having to maybe think about your life in new and different ways, having to communicate about your life, about what's going on inside you in different ways, having to think about it differently, maybe working with your neighbors. 3rd house also rules neighbors in different ways, and siblings, maybe having to think differently, communicate differently, work differently with your siblings, and overcome maybe some things that other people in your community have done, maybe that have been hurtful for you, so that you can be more free to have a community you like better, to express yourself better. Okay, the hard thing could be right here where Mars is in your 12th house. Maybe it's hard for you to communicate and to think because you've got so many things from the past going on that are preventing you from moving forward with the 12th house. Could also be a lot of personal stuff, a lot of spiritual stuff going on inside. Maybe you don't know how to communicate about the things going on inside you because they're so like formless in a way. Or maybe they're so private you don't want to communicate about it, and really needing to learn how to be comfortable with this new way of thinking, with this new way of communicating, or how to communicate in better ways about the spiritual stuff that's going on and about the stuff that's going on inside you to help you move forward coming into new chapters, okay? What also might need to change here, but in a good way with Jupiter, is in your 11th house. So maybe in order for you to communicate much better about what's going on inside you, about some personal spiritual things that are going on within you, you may have to change where you see your life going, your goals, your dreams, the future you saw for yourself. May also have to change the people that you associate with. And I see if maybe you change where you see your life going, and if you change the people you associate with, it's going to help you here to have a better community, work better with people in your community, think and communicate more freely. It's also going to help you here where Mercury and Venus are in your 4th house to have the home or the family that you want, to feel better emotionally in some way and start to build something that's important to you. With Mars and Venus making a trine to the North Node in your 8th, you may have to make some big changes still in your life in order to be happy, in order to build your life on a better footing and feel more solid and stable in life. But I feel like you're getting there. Like the communicating in the right ways and thinking in the right ways about your life and about where you see your life going is then going to help you create more of a foundation, doing something different that is really good for you. And maybe you have to end a foundation, end a home life, end some kind of emotional state in order for you to step into a new goal, dream, being more free to communicate about you and about who you are, okay? So that's Capricorn. Now for Aquarius. here. First house, Aquarius. Oh, where am I going to write this? Guess I'll just write it over the chart. All right, Aquarius, what we've got going on for you is the new moon right here in your second house of money, of income, of your gifts and skills and talents, of your confidence. So maybe there's an old gift, skill, or talent that you had. Maybe you got to get rid of those. Maybe you need to cultivate a new talent, do new things, using new skills that it is that you have. Maybe you need a new source of money. Your old source of income isn't working. You need to cultivate new money sources. Maybe as well, your confidence, maybe you got some fears. Maybe it's hard for you to be confident, needing to get your confidence up to believe in your unique self. All right, so that's kind of some things going on there. Your challenge could be right here where Mars is in your 11th, of your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for the future. So maybe you have some talent that you see, or maybe you see some new gifts and skills of yours, but maybe you don't know if it can take you to where you want your life to go. You don't know if it can give you the life direction that you want, if it can help you associate with the people you want. Maybe you know that I have this talent that I really like to use, but I don't know if anyone else is going to like it. I don't know if it's going to help me get anywhere. And I think really needing to find a way how to reach some big goal or dreams of yours, doing something that you feel gifted and talented at, and making money, perhaps doing something new or different. All right, what you may need to change right here with Jupiter in your 10th is your career, is where you saw your life going, with it making a trine over here. You need to change the direction of your life so that you can start to use more of your gifts and talents, make more money, and feel more confident in your life, doing something that really resonates with you, okay? If you can do that, it's going to help you right here where Venus and Mercury are in your 3rd house, to communicate and to think much better about everything, and especially about relationships, with Mercury and Venus making a trine over here to the North Node in your 7th. So you figuring out what you're good at and finding more of that stability that you need, and maybe changing your life direction in order to find that stability and find that confidence, I think is going to help you have better relationships, communicate with people better, understand what people need from you and what you need from people, and just work more smoothly with that. Maybe have other people help you to do some of the things maybe that you need, okay? So I see that being a good thing if you just own your worth and your value, right? Pisces, here, last sign, 1. You can read that. Here it is in your 1st house. So of course, it's a new beginning in your identity and who you are and everything about you. Since the 1st house typically rules, it's like everything, the way you do things, the way you act, express yourself, what kind of what you look like a lot of times too. So maybe there's just some kind of new identity, new beginning that you're making in regards to your life overall, okay? And needing to overcome, again, some old identity, some old way of thinking of yourself so that you can step into a new one, all right? Maybe the challenge is coming right here where Mars is, in your 10th house of your career and your reputation, your social standing. Oh, sorry, I put 11 there. It's going to be 10 coming in. So maybe there's some new identity you're creating, but it's hard because you don't know, like, can this new person that I'm becoming, like, is this really the person I want to be? Is it going to give me the life I want? Is it going to give me the reputation? Is it going to give me the career that I want? Coming in, and you really needing to figure out here how to point your life in the right direction, being this new person, letting this new person emerge, okay, and not be so worried about whether or not you're doing the right thing or are who you need, or whether or not there's something about you that isn't working, all right? Needing to just believe here that you can put your life in the right direction, doing something new, okay? What might need to change here is where Jupiter is, and Jupiter is actually in your 9th house. So again, I see lots of new things coming in for you, needing to try something new, move, do something new you haven't done before, do something that excites you in some way. And I think the more you can do something new that excites you, a passion project, learn something, whatever that is, it's then going to help you here to be a new person and to hopefully put your life in a better direction or overcome some of those things that you need to feel better about where your life is going now that you're letting a new identity emerge. All right, once you overcome the past so you can be this new person, then a lot of it is going to come, especially with Mercury and Venus here in your 2nd, about you being confident with everything that's happened to you lately. You being okay with this person, you stepping into it, you may be making money, getting income now that you have some new life direction and now that you are a new person. And you may be using your gifts and skills and talents, okay, is going to become more of a focus once you become this new person, is how do you build more stability into your life with all of this and be more confident, right? That can also help you here, where the North Node is, and your job, your 6th house, and your daily routines. Once you become this new person, don't let anything from the past hold you back so you can put your life in a better direction. It's not only going to help you focus more on how you can be more confident, make more money, but have a better set of daily routines or a better job that you feel more comfortable in, and can bring more money to you. All right. So that's what I see going on there. All right, I hope that helped. Now I'm going to look at the chat and I'll see if I can answer any of your questions. All right, where are we with the chat? Let me put it back on. Let me put it back on my face. There we go. I'll stop the share. Awesome. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm trying to think. I did get a message from someone. Someone did ask me, they're trying to, I think, manifest more clients. And they were wondering if there's anything that they could do with this new moon to manifest like more, I guess, for a business. I think that was the question, what to do. I think that a big thing, if you want to manifest anything really, is especially with all this Pisces stuff, is to just be patient. That would be huge. To have faith, of course, that things will work out. And I think do your best to not let your fears get you down and to see your future, you know, especially with the solar eclipse in Aquarius. I think if there's anything in your life you want to create that you don't currently have, and this may sound like really silly, but I think the best way to do that is to just get at least some picture of it in your head, to envision it. And I think if you can envision it and think about that and hold on to it, then slowly over the next few weeks and months, your actions can start to align with that vision to help you create that thing. All right. And especially with the North Node still in Leo for the next few months, I think being a big thing is confidence too, just being confident that you can do these things that you want, that they will happen, and taking the initiative yourself for these things to come to fruition. So not a great time to rely on other people to do things for you, but for you to take the leadership position, to do the things that you see, and to be patient and to pace yourself in the process. Okay, awesome. Let me go through the comments. Is it okay if I, as a Pisces, apply for a job? Yes. Yes, it is. I like new moons personally. I'm a huge fan of new moons. So I definitely think it's a good time to do that. I mean, the new moon isn't a conjunction with Chiron, but it is coming off of that. For you, if you're a Pisces, it'll be in what? Aries, and I think it's a good time for a new job and money. I would do it. Awesome. Glad you could make it for that, Alyssa. Good timing. Yeah, Peter, I hope it gets better for Sagittarius too. Y'all are my opposite sign. I'm a Gemini, so I'm like, I need Sagittarius to feel better. Hi, Sri. I think that's how you say your name. Just making sure I say it right. My name is Brittany. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Between retirement or getting a new job. Let's see. Well, if you're a Leo rising, Candy, it looks to me like you got a lot of changes in your life that you need to make. Definitely doing something new that you haven't done before that maybe excites you. You know, anything I would say that maybe would hopefully make you happier all around, Candy. Both of those seems like they'd be pretty happy though. Retirement or a job that you like. All right, let's see. Is it a good time for legal matters? Is it a good time? That's a good question, Peter. We're about to have a full moon in Libra. And coming in at the very end of this month, Libra is the sign of the court system of legal matters. It's a good time to end a legal matter, I would say, to settle anything with the courts in some way. Yeah, it's a good time for that. I don't know if I would like start. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I don't know if I would like start or just a court issue, but it was a good time to end one. Yeah. Let's see, Alyssa, you said you're confused by the current encouraging energies of Mercury. Why are you confused? I know it's kind of like we're going forward, but like while we're going forward, we're also going back. So that can be a little bit hard. But I think like what is trying to happen is we're just trying to make sure that we're building, or what the astrology is trying to teach us, to make sure that we're building our life and the foundation of our life in the most solid way possible, so that we don't get to where we want to be down the road and then realize that we didn't do it right and that everything's going to fall apart. So that's the way that I see it, is maybe if things feel a little bit slow, it's because we need to do it right. And I think there are so many things, maybe in culture, maybe in society, that encourages us to take the shortcut and to do things fast and to take the easy way out. And I think it's one of those times right now where we need to kind of take things slow and steady and do things right so that it can all work together. I'm a Libra. Should I hold back feelings I have for a certain someone? I feel like that's kind of like a Libra question. I don't know, with Jupiter and Scorpio, like I think now is definitely the time to like bring feelings out into the light. If there's anything going on in secret, I think now is the time to do it. You might not want to do it on the new moon because there is a chance that it could hurt a little bit with Chiron coming in. But it could also bring a chance for great healing too. So I think if you if you express your feelings to someone and you do it knowing that it may not go the way that you want it to go, you may not get the response that you want to get. But if you just need to get it off your chest, I think now would be a good time to get those feelings off your chest and to maybe hopefully move past some of those things if you have the right perspective on it, especially with Jupiter and Scorpio coming in. Hopefully the new moon, if you do speak your feelings, will bring maybe like a new perspective on some things if they've been hard for you to express. All right, especially with their Libra, you're going to have a lot of stuff going through your 7th house this next month as well. So relationships are going to be a big thing, but just needing to make sure that, yeah, you're expressing your emotions in your relationships, you're being honest and working those issues out. So I can definitely see that being a thing that might come up for you. Oh, interesting, Alyssa. Wondering if you should leave your current job or hold off until Mercury goes direct again. I don't know. That's a thing that's coming up with me where I have like a contract that I may be signing soon. And I'm like, oh, but Mercury's in shadow. I really don't want to sign it. I really don't want to, but knowing that I probably need to, because it's very hard to tell people, like, especially that aren't doing astrology, like, oh, I'm just going to wait, like, give me like 2 months or like, give me a month to wait. So I'll probably do it anyways. And I think, just see what happens with that, make sure I can change it or get out of it later on down the road. Wondering if I should, I personally, to be honest, would wait until Mercury goes direct again to make a decision about whether or not you should leave your current job, just to make sure that it's what you really want, to make sure that, that this is important to you. So I would do that. I mean, maybe if you're revisiting an old issue, then you could do it, but I think I would wait. I would hold off. Yeah, I think Mercury retrograde really is going to bring what is it? I think it's really going to change the way that we see ourselves, especially with Mercury going retrograde in Aries. And that's why I would caution you against making decisions while Mercury is retrograde or in shadow, because you may come out on the other side realizing that you're not who you thought you were, or maybe that you are who you thought you were, but that there are things about you that are different that you want and need. And so, yeah, so I might just wait until after to make sure that you know who you are fully and what you really want before making a decision. Maybe the Mercury retrograde will help you understand what job you need next. Also, on that note as well, just to let you all know, I do have a Mercury retrograde webinar that I will be doing coming up. I'm going to talk about all the big alignments that Mercury is going to be making during its retrograde. And of course, you can ask me anything you want there. We'll be going through, just what's going on before, after the retrograde. I'll also talk to you about what it means for you and your sign. And then we can also go into the natal if you want to know what it means to have Mercury in Virgo or Mercury in Taurus. We can talk about that as well. Okay. So that's what I've got for tonight. I don't want to keep you all waiting or keep you all too long. Let me see if there's anything else that comes up. Yeah, your dad's buying a car tomorrow. I'm a Cancer rising, Candy. We just had a solar eclipse in our 8th house. So definitely brings lots of big financial investments, lots of money going out for the next 6 months, lots of changes and instability in life. Hoping I'll do okay through all of this. I'm really banking on the solar eclipse and Leo coming back in my second. Yeah, it's going to be my first house then, but I'm really hoping it's going to help me make up for any money that I may lose during this transit. Awesome. Yeah, Emily, I will. It'll be there for you to watch. Oh, thanks, Angela. Yeah, hopefully I'll do more of these. Awesome. Okay. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you. If y'all have any comments or anything you'd like to see me cover, just please let me know. And I think that's it. I think I'll talk to y'all later. It's always so hard for me to leave these things because I like knowing what you're all thinking and all of that. But I will catch you all later. And I hope you enjoyed this. All right. Have a good night. Bye.